Racers, start your Mazda engines.
The 2010 Playboy Mazda MX5 Cup has proven quite a playground for young stars and veteran drivers alike. Brad Rampelberg has grabbed 2 early victories, not enough though to separate him from his more youthful competition. Justin Piscatell got his first career win at New Jersey. Rampelberg's apprentice Michael Cooper trying to knock him off the championship perch. The Playboy Mazda MX5 Cup returns next. We're in Joliet, Illinois at the Autobahn Country Club course, coverage of the Playboy Mazda MX5 Cup. Today it's the Harrah's Autobahn Grand Prix presented by Mazda. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Elliot Forbes-Robinson is alongside. Bill Stevens has our coverage this weekend down on Pit Road. Second time we've come to the Autobahn Country Club course for this midsummer event. Elliot, this is really a handling-oriented place.
Well, it really is. It's very tight. It's almost like a street track without walls. Straights are pretty short here. Drafting is not going to be at a premium here. I think we should be in for a good race.
Well, some of the main championship contenders qualifying at the front of the grid for today's event. Let's meet the pole sitter. Bill Stevens caught up with him earlier.
Brad Rampelberg picks up the pole for the first of 2 Playboy MX5 Series races here at Autobahn this weekend. And the most amazing part of the scenario, you've never been here before.
No, showed up Thursday morning, never seen this track, and really spent a lot of time kind of learning. It's a pretty difficult track, and got some help from some teammates on some drafting and pulled it out at the end.
Got some tough customers out there for the race. How are you going to hold them off?
Wow, I really think it's going to be probably 4 or 5 car train for 45 minutes, and we'll sort it out at the end.
All right, good luck today.
Thank you.
All right, Brad Rampelberg going for his 3rd win of the season here. Got some help in practice from his young teammate Michael Cooper, who has certainly had a strong beginning to the Playboy MX5 Cup Series season. You get a sense of just how beautiful this facility is. Elliot, tell us about the racetrack.
The straights here aren't really long, so drafting is not going to come into effect as it has a lot of other tracks because there isn't that high speed where you can draft for a long time and then pull out of the draft. And it also probably won't be long enough to guys that will lose something in a corner and be able to draft back up on the pack. But we will see some passing here because the braking areas are into really tight corners, which does make it good for passing.
San Jose's Brad Rampelberg will be our pole starter here today. Field has rolled away behind the safety car. We'll have a reconnaissance lap and a standing start here today at Autobahn Country Club. There's Rampelberg and young Nick Evans qualifying second, Elliot.
No, it's a great job. And what's happened to these guys is when you work with your partner, it depends on who got the good lap to put you in front. And Rampelberg did a great job of getting that toe.
From Weston, Connecticut, Justin Piscatell, that win at New Jersey, his first career win, now the series point leader. That's the Team MER DAMG Worldwide 89 car. Michael Cooper starts alongside. These are the 2 young drivers who won at New Jersey. Cooper drives the 84 of the Bromonte landscaping car. He's from Syosset, Long Island in New York. Back to row 3, Jesse Combs in the 77. That's the CoolGas.com entry. He's from Houston, Texas. Russell Walker out of Dallas in one of the Team MER cars. 4th row, Jeff Mosing in the 30. He's from Austin, Texas. The Franks International Race Now for Autism machine. And Mark Carpenter from Charlotte, North Carolina, the GGS Technical Publications entry. That is car number 14. He'll start in the 8th spot. Back to row number 5. A couple of our local drivers, Dan Bender and Richard Fisher. Dan is from Glencoe, Illinois. Richard Fisher from Evanston. They drive for Autobahn Mazda Countryside. Both of these drivers, Elliot, are members here. They should have a lot of, maybe an advantage knowing this racetrack well.
Well, you know, they have some local knowledge for sure, but, you know, saying they have an advantage is tough when you got the quality of driver that is up front who learn tracks very, very fast. And I think that when Brad was talking about it earlier, he says, you know, he came out here and didn't know the track. Well, the quality of driver actually learns a track so fast, you only have an advantage for maybe 1 session and a half over this kind of driver. But these guys do know the fact that they've driven here in the wet, know how long it stays wet and what it's going to do to the car. As you can see in the picture here, there still is water in certain places. There's still damp spots, which is actually going to be hard for some of the guys working their way up through the pack.
Going back through the field, 17 cars will take the green flag back in the 8th row. Al Caiola from New York, the B&L Management car, Tim Probert from Houston, the Alara Racing entry, and Christine Crane will be shotgun on the field in the 39 car. That is the Pink Top Racing for the Cure entry. And we talked about Christine. She had a pretty good weekend at New Jersey, Elliot. Here she seems to be struggling a little bit.
And, you know, she has nobody to work with. As Brad said, you know, it's good to have teammates and all the feedback from the cars and the data from the other cars to help you get up to speed. Well, she has none of those advantages. She has to learn everything by herself. She has to learn the setup by herself. And there's a lot of guys struggling with setup here. Arl Mulcahy and Lionel Kent, who are usually up at the front of the queue.
Who are winning drivers.
Right.
Yeah.
And they had an issue with the car here, and guess what? They're back in 13th position. You know, it's a tough track to do.
And we talked to Lionel Kent this morning after qualifying, but before he suited up for the race, told me a couple of interesting things, because you and I were puzzling over the practice times earlier in the weekend. What's the problem? Well, they thought that both he and Arl Mulcahy might have had shock absorber issues. They were going to dyno the shocks, see if they needed to make changes. And Lionel also told me they had installed a new cool suit system for him with a cool box in the passenger side floorboard, and it was leaking on the tires.
Not a good thing.
No.
Not a good thing. That's racing in the rain when it's sunny out.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that. But, you know, it is interesting. They went through Ara's car all the way through it last night, took everything apart just to see if there was any issues. And they didn't really find anything that they thought was what was causing them the problem. But he's out here today and he's thinking that, you know, maybe I have a good car. And for us, it's great because we got two really good drivers at the back of the pack that we're going to get to see work their way through, and I think that makes some exciting racing as well. I know they wouldn't choose to do that, but that's what we're going to have today.
On the inside of row one, the blue and silver car, that is Rampelberg in the 4, the Cobalt Brakes AMG entry out of San Jose, California. On the left of your screen, Nick Evans, Powell, Ohio, the 28 car, the Mazda Sparco Team MER entry. This series, a major part of the Mazda Speed driver development ladder. Champion here will get an opportunity to move up, perhaps to Grand Am next year. We'll see how it plays out. Bottom right of your screen, this is the light system. The standing start for both races this weekend here at Autobahn. These lights will go red, then green. When they get all the way to the top, you'll see the red light kind of creep up. When it gets all the way to the top, the green will come on. Can't go before that. It's a foul. It's a penalty if you do.
It is, and it's not something you want to give up because coming through the pits here, it's such a long pit lane, you will lose. You'll never be back in the race. You'll be at the end of the queue. So it's very important to get this start and not let the car roll before that light goes on, but you don't want to be late on it either. You want to be right on the money, and some of these guys have gone out and practiced the starts because you want to get a little wheel spin. You don't want to balk the motor, and you don't want to kill it for sure because somebody could hit you in the back as well as you just sitting there.
45 minutes of timed action here at Autobahn Country Club. A lap here in qualifying, about 2 minutes, 45 seconds. Race pace will be a little slower than that, so we might see 15 minutes of racing. Red lights creeping up, ready for the standing start. First turn is a left-hander. Rampelberg should have an advantage